Hello, everybody. I'm Ralph Webb, and welcome to Baylor Stadium, where tonight the Bears of Baylor play host to the Cougars of Houston. Houston, by most, was picked to win the Southwest Conference before the season started and was ranked in the top 10. Since then, they've come upon hard times. Coming into tonight's game, the Cougars have 1 win and 2 losses. The Bears, on the other hand, were picked at the bottom of the charts. And coming into tonight's game, they have a perfect 3-0 record, are ranked number 20 by Associated Press and number 19 by UPI. This is the first conference game for the Cougars, the second for the Bears, having beat Texas Tech 11-3 last week in Lubbock. In just a moment, the highlights of tonight's game between the Baylor Bears and the Houston Cougars on the Grant Teaff Show. The faculty members at Baylor's Hand-Camera School of Business have earned national recognition for their expertise. To name just a few of more than 70 professors, Dr. Emerson Henke, Distinguished Professor of Accounting, is an advisor to the Financial Accounting Standards Board, the national rule-making body for accounting practice. Dr. Wallstein Smith, Professor of Real Estate and Business Law, is a certified appraiser who has served as a governor of the Society of Real Estate Appraisers. Dr. Ray Perriman, Professor of Economics, is completing the largest and most sophisticated model of the state of Texas for economic forecasting. Dr. Dale Allen, Professor of Management, is a nationally known labor arbitrator and an expert in labor relations. Dr. Calvin Kent, Director of Baylor Center for Private Enterprise and Entrepreneurship, is serving an unprecedented second term as President of the National Association of Economic Educators. These are but a few of the professors preparing students for dynamic careers in business at Baylor's Hand-Camera School of Business.
Saturday night in Baylor Stadium, another in the long line of great football contests between the University of Houston and the Fighting Baylor Bears was held. It was a great football game, one that 40,000 plus fans thoroughly enjoyed. And as a football coach, I enjoyed it. There was hard hitting. There was great determination on the part of both teams. For the last 4 years, after Baylor ushered the University of Houston into the Southwest Conference, they have defeated us in the fourth quarter. They've gone on 3 of those 4 years to win Southwest Conference championships. Coach Bill Yeoman's team is an outstanding football team, extremely well coached, and one that our players respect and are always prepared to play. Saturday night was no different. Both teams came prepared to play. An interesting aspect of this ball game was that there were 2 sophomores that played great parts in the ball game. One, Vic Vines, who had never started a game for Baylor University, started at cornerback and played the entire ball game. Another, Brent Chen, quarterback for the Houston Cougars, who had never started a game, but because of an injury to the fine quarterback Elston, he started this ball game and I thought performed very well. There were 2 fine defenses on the football field Saturday night, and it was evident in the fact that there were a lot of loose balls on the ground. Great hitting and a lot of people going after the football and the ball carrier. There was some excellent passing Saturday night. Jay Jeffrey performed in a very solid way. His running and his passing was a great part of Baylor's offense. A year ago, in the second half, Houston held Baylor to 2 first downs. And this time we made 22 first downs against a very good Cougar defense. I think a part of that was the fact that our offensive line performed very well. We're young. Bobby Glass, who missed 2 years of contact football because of an injury, came back this fall and was really pushed into a starting position because of injuries, and he has really responded well. I thought Eddie Gregory played an outstanding game, and of course Frank Ditta, who has been one of our leaders, along with Buzzy Nelson in the offensive line. Mark Kirshner did an outstanding job. Anytime you can take the football and move it against the likes of the Houston Cougar defense, you've done a good job. We're going to have the opportunity to look at both the Cougars and the Bears and the highlights from that football game, and they're good, exciting highlights. Our defense played very, very well. Mike Singletary led us. Doak Fields had an outstanding game, and we'll take a look at the rest of those fine defenders in just a moment. What a fantastically beautiful night, what a great crowd, and what a tremendous victory the Baylor Bears won. We chose to receive the football and came out throwing. Ball is completed to Radar Holt, who had a first down, and his momentum carried him back. He turned back upfield and came up about 2 yards short. This play right here is an audible at the line of scrimmage, and Leonard Mitchell did a fine job. He reached over and swished the ball out of Dennis Gentry's hand. They took over. This is a very important series for our defense. They get great field position at the outset of the ball game. The tempo of the game is going to be set right here by our defense. And they played very, very well, holding Houston, keeping them from getting another first down. Great play right there. And forcing them to kick a field goal. Getting good pressure on field goals is extremely important. Great pressure in there. Ball was kicked wide to the right, no good. Defense takes over after a fumble inside our own 25-yard line. Our defense held, and it gave us some great momentum. Through on first down, again to Radar Holt, complete. Walter Abercrombie running upfield for a 12-yard gain. Good blocking on the left side of the line. Eddie Gregory, Frank Ditta, Ray Cockrell. This was a third down situation, check, and the ball was batted down by the defensive end, who dropped back off the line of scrimmage. We punted, and Houston takes over. Chin is number 8. He's forced to pitch the ball quick by our defensive end, and they're backed up inside their own 10-yard line. Good rush by our punt team. We didn't get a chance to return any kicks last night. After the ball game, I looked at the stats and couldn't believe that old McNeil hadn't made more yardage than he had, but they did a good job on their coverage. Walter again making a good run. Ball stripped loose again. Dennis had 2 fumbles in a row. This one was a very big one for us because we were down in scoring territory. Good defense by Vic Vines. Defense holds again. Houston forced to punt. Again, you can see good coverage down there. He didn't kick the ball very far, and they got down on it in time to sort of bottle us up. Score 0-0 with 6:38 left in the first quarter. Jay Jeffrey on the option, coming outside up to the 32-yard line. Jay had an excellent night. He completed a good high percentage of his passes, 11 out of 16. He ran for 87 yards and generally was excellent on the field. He made a couple of mistakes, but he's still young and still learning. I'm pleased with him. His Chin coming outside. This was a penalty. He grabbed him, looked to me like on the back of the shoulder pads, but it may have been on the back of the helmet. Ball's knocked loose by young man Charles Benson, who had another fine game, sophomore defensive end, and the crowd goes wild. Sprint out again on first down. Good blocking by our backs. We didn't have any problem all evening getting outside their contain and throwing the ball on the sprint out type action. Brandon came in. What happened on this? Jeffrey lost his shoe. In fact, he lost both of them. We substituted with Mike Brannon, and he was just as cold as he could be. You saw that the man was open, and that was a big series for us that we didn't make the first down. Fine run by Houston running back. That's Wright, who's a real good runner. Here's another run. I tell you, he's a fine runner. They have a very, very potent offense, and to do the job we did on them, I think, is a great credit to our defensive staff and our defensive people. Charles Benson again making the stop. Max McGarry, Joe Campbell, Tommy Tabor. This time the ball goes through the uprights. Humphrey from Houston kicks it through. Now it's 3-0 in the second quarter. The first quarter was scoreless. Houston leads now. Good high kick. Dennis Gentry will take it. Dennis had 55 yards on kickoff returns. He did a good job. He was injured on the very next one, and we'll miss, it looks like, a couple of weeks. We're really sorry to lose Dennis. Fine completion out to the 32-yard line. Offensive line coming off the ball very, very well. Our need was to neutralize their two great tackles, and I thought our offensive line did a fine job. This is Dennis Gentry on a draw play. Late hit. That gives us 15 more yards down the field. Robert Bledsoe comes in to kick a field goal, and he misses this one. It was wide to the right. Good run. Houston backs always are hard runners, and their offensive line really comes off the football. They really present a lot of problems. Good pressure. Oh, great hit. Great hit. That forced a big third down play, and Mike Singletary missed the first of two in his hands. We're going to have to work Mike on his interception. This is their second field goal, and they now lead 6-0, but the defense has not allowed a touchdown. And we're playing well enough offensively. We know that we're going to get points on the board. We had a lot of confidence. This is the play where Dennis Gentry gets hurt. Just a real fine hit, and he's slammed to the ground by number 38. You'll see him here coming off the sideline, his left arm hanging limp. And Mike Sims, one of our fine trainers, meets him. And we were told later that it was a slight dislocation. Jay Jeffrey on the quarterback draw up the field. Excellent run. Jay has great speed and is a good runner. It's a fine throw right here down the field to number 22, Mike Fisher. That's Radar Holt in motion. Another fine pass completion. Good defensive hit. Well, I tell you, that's good coverage, and when you catch the football, you hit like that, that's good defense. Walter Abercrombie going up and over for a very crucial first down for us. We had to have it on this drive. This is a very important drive right before the half. Trying to get points on the board. Great throw, and what a catch for a touchdown. Radar Holt. Happy birthday, Radar. That was a great way to end the first half. They led 6-0. We come in, drive the length of the field, score a 6-pointer. Robert Bledsoe puts the 7th point on the board, and there you have it. 7-6 at the halftime. Clock is run out. We go in, try to get ready for the second half. Houston's choice, they chose to receive. We tried an onside kick to start the second half. That would tell you a little bit of the confidence I have in our defense against the defending champions. We didn't get the ball, but our defense did what we thought they could do, put great pressure on Houston, and they were unable to go for the first down. They had to punt to Baylor, and we start back upfield. Very important, we felt, to come out and establish the fact that we were going to move the football in the second half. It's a critical time. 4 years past, you remember, Houston has some way, somehow pulled the game out in the fourth quarter against us. Here was an interesting play, very good officiating, excellent. You could see on the film that our center reached out and hooked the nose guard, and when he did that, that's a 5-yard penalty. They also called the correct play or the correct call on the interference, but it was offsetting penalties. But Jay comes back, completes 2 very important passes. This one right here to Mike Fisher. He caught the ball inside and was carried out by the defensive lineman. Jay fumbled on this. We're moving the ball. We're down the field. We're getting in scoring territory, and we get the ball knocked loose. Good defense. But it also told our offense that we were capable of moving the football on Houston. Though we didn't get any points, it was a great psychological thing for us. The defense came back and led by Joe Campbell and Tommy Tabor, shut Houston down. They punt again. Gerald McNeil can't break it. Happy birthday, Radar. Jeffrey sprinting out. Good block by Philip Ward. Philip played most of the second half in place of Dennis Gentry and had some outstanding blocks. Radar Holt had a little hip injury the first half and was slowed down a little bit. That's to fine receiver Mike Fisher, who missed the Houston game last week because of a hamstring pull, and came back this week full throttle. We were pleased about that. Moving the ball, throwing now, working on the corners again to Radar Holt. Very important drive for us, good blocking. Robert Mitchell just a little bit long, but he had a step on the defender. Good blocking. Now Jay turns it back upfield, and this is a very big play for us down to about the 15-yard line. Bobby Glass, Buzzy Nelson, Eddie Gregory, Ray Cockrell. Field goal now is through the uprights, and that is a very important 3 points for us. Makes it 10-6, third quarter score. Robert really kicked the ball well. Kicked this about 9 yards deep into the end zone with no return. They start on the 20-yard line. Chin, the quarterback, handing off to Wright. Good defense. Tell you, old Lester Ward really plays good football, and here's a good set of defense going in and getting the football back, and a big turnover for us, big turnover. 10-6, and on the very first play from scrimmage, we run the cutback play, and Walter takes it zip into the end zone. Right there, he's gone. What a fine running back. He doesn't get enthusiastic about it. I got to try to get him more enthusiastic. Our whole team plays with a lot of enthusiasm, and we're quite proud of him. I told him after the ball game that I've never been prouder of a group of young men that I've coached, and in my coaching career I've had some great teams and some great young men, but this group started out 6th or 7th in the Southwest Conference, and in 4 weeks' time they have now become contenders, and they've done it by their hard work and their pure effort. Just a lot of great effort. A lot of young people playing. Our secondary performed well again. I would have to say that Thomas Earl Young, who is from Houston and wanted this victory very much, did a great job. Jay forced the ball in there, got the interception. Houston takes over with the fourth quarter coming up now. This is a very important drive for them. Chin coming on the little waggle or the bootleg, and looked to me like a clip right there, but they could see it better than I could. I might be prejudiced on that call. Here's a good pass and throw. This is the only pass that Herring caught, and he's really one of the outstanding receivers in our conference. This is the execution of Houston Beer, missed tackle, and into the end zone. Now this is a very critical time for us, because you remember, psychologically, you have to be thinking down deep in the inner recesses of your mind. You know, Houston always finds a way to beat us in the fourth quarter, and that bothers some people, but it doesn't seem to bother this football team, because what the offense did was what you have to do to win big, important games, and that is take the football, take it down the field. You're going to see some really fine blocking by Philip Ward right there, cleared the linebacker and gave Walter time to run. Radar Holt hurt his back a little bit on that play. You saw him hit the ground. Ray Cockrell, Bobby Glass on the right side. This play right here was a design halfback pass to Alfred Anderson. The quarterback was hit just as he pitched the ball. It bobbled on the ground. Alfred made a miraculous recovery, threw it downfield. We, of course, had no lineman downfield because it was a pass. And Gerald McNeil made a fantastic catch, and it set us up a 3rd and 1 situation. There's an interference call on that particular play, and gave us a very important first down. Mike Lively in motion, and the option run to perfection. Alfred Anderson goes in for his 4th career touchdown as a collegiate. He's a freshman. He has scored the last 7 points in every ball game that we've played this year. University of Houston now moves down the field. Here's a fine tackle by Doak Fields, who had an absolutely outstanding football game. Van McElroy always plays well for us in the secondary. Scott Smith is a great leader on the field for us. Just can't get them turned loose. Houston did a great job in punt coverage. Important now. This was after an interception that I should have shown here, but I left it off the highlights that Doak Field made, and we came back out with great field position. We should have just driven the football out, but we forced the football. Jay realized that you don't do that, and he learns every ball game. There's a fine run and pass completion to Mr. Fee. And now we knocked the football loose down on the 2-yard line. Mike Singletary recovered, 1:23 left, and they have no timeouts left, and we run the clock out. Jay Jeffrey falls on the football, and our coaches, offensive coaches, think that's the greatest play in football, to fall on it and let that clock run out. It was a great football game, and Coach Yeoman and I visited a little bit after the game was over, and he's a truly class gentleman and a fine football team. It was a great victory for us, and we'll be back in just a moment. Well, it was really a great victory for our football team, and one that put them 4-0 for the season. A lot of people talk a lot about statistics. We are number 2 in the nation as far as total offense is concerned. We're number 6 in the nation as far as our defense is concerned. We lead 5 of the 6 categories in the Southwest Conference as far as team statistics are concerned. I don't think that those statistics have been mentioned to any of our players or by any of our coaches. We're not really concerned about statistics. What is important is the outcome of the football game, and Saturday's outcome made this team 4-0, which is the most important statistic. We're going to have an opportunity this week to compete against another 4-0 football team. 63 years Baylor and SMU have been playing football. Never in the history of the meeting of these two teams have both teams been undefeated, the first time. SMU defeating Tulane last week very impressively, comes to Baylor Stadium with a really outstanding football team. It's going to be a great, great football game. All of our games with SMU have been. Last year was one of the most exciting games I've ever seen in my life. The year before that in Baylor Stadium, we led 21-0, and with Mike Ford, they came back in the 4th quarter and beat us 28-21. What a fantastic victory for SMU. The game has always been that way, and it'll be no different this week when Coach Myers brings his team to Baylor Stadium. I hope that you'll be there. If you can't be there, then we ask you to come back next week and join us as we bring you highlights of that SMU battle between 2 undefeated football teams. We'll be back next week at the same time. We'd like to also mention the High School Coaches Association. We have been saluting them all this year, and we will continue to do so. I have tremendous respect for our high school coaches in the state of Texas. We know what a fantastic job they do, and we take great pride in saluting them. In our dressing room after the game was over, you're going to see some shots of some excited players. Van McElroy coming in, number 16, number 22, Mike Fisher. There's number 55, Bobby Glass, who had a great game. Injured Dennis Gentry, Frank Ditta, a freshman. Here is fine man Radar Hope, Coach Fredenberg coming in. Abercrombie, what a runner, what a player, what a leader. He's a very happy young man. There's Scott Smith and Coach Hicks, and Coach Cundriff, and there's Coach Duke Christian. Ray Cockrell coming in. What a great group.
I think beating them just really made, it really made us happy. And I think we're going to go through the rest of the year knowing now that what it takes to win. We beat a very good football team tonight. They've been having their problems, but they've got some great talent. And I think when we go back and look at it, we can see how really good we're getting.
I definitely think we're looking down some people's throats right now. Beating Houston's a big one because they're a great football team.
Oh, sure. Houston has been our big rival ever since they come into the conference. And I've been here for 4 years, and this is the first year we beat them since I've been here. So it's going to help us get on down the road.
Van McElroy coming in, number 16. Number 22, Mike Fisher. There's number 55, Bobby Glass, who had a great game. Injured, Dennis Gentry. Frank Ditta, a freshman. Here is fine man, Radar Hope. Coach Fredenberg coming in. Abercrombie, what a runner, what a player, what a leader. He's a very happy young man. There's Scott Smith and Coach Hicks, and Coach Cundriff, and there's Coach Duke Christian. Ray Cockrell coming in. What a great group.
I think beating them just really made, it really made us happy. And I think we're going to go through the rest of the year knowing now that what it takes to win. We beat a very good football team tonight. They've been having their problems, but they've got some great talent. And I think when we go back and look at it, we can see how really good we're getting.
I definitely think we're looking down some people's throats right now. Beating Houston's a big one because they're a great football team.
Oh, sure. Houston has been our big rival ever since they come into the conference. And I've been here for 4 years, and this is the first year we beat them since I've been here. So it's going to help us get on down the road.
Two undefeated teams, and something has to give. Hello, everybody. I'm Ralph Webb, and welcome to Baylor Stadium, where the Bears play host to the Mustangs of SMU. Both SMU and Baylor come into tonight's game with perfect 4-0 records. The Mustangs ranked number 20 by Associated Press. This will be their second conference game. The Bears coming into tonight's game are ranked number 18 by Associated Press and number 15 by UPI. This will be their third conference game of the season. This is the first time in history that both of these schools have played each other, coming into the game with perfect one-loss records. You can, however, go back 57 years to 1923. Both teams had no losses. However, Baylor did enter that game with a couple of ties. So tonight, both teams, all wins, no losses and no ties. Over 42,000 folks are on hand to watch the shootout between the Bears and the Mustangs. The weather almost ideal. The wind light and variable. The temperature stands in the mid-70s. In just a moment, things will warm up. The battle of the undefeated. And you'll see the highlights of the Baylor SMU game in just a moment on the Grant Teaff Show.
Back in 1903, along the edge of a frontier town called Dallas, Texas, several men looked to the future and the need for a great hospital in the rapidly growing Southwest. They started this great humanitarian hospital where men of all creeds and those of none came with equal confidence. Today, it's Baylor University Medical Center, the 5th largest private hospital in the country. Baylor, an outstanding medical center where science becomes the healing art through nuclear cardiology for heart patients, the special care nursery for high-risk newborns, the Salmons Cancer Center, and the Hunt Heart Center. A nationally recognized staff of medical professionals, as well as researchers and educators in medicine and the life sciences, provide the best possible patient care. That's why Baylor University Medical Center in Dallas is recognized as one of the top 10 in the nation.
Baylor and SMU get together on the football field. It's always an exciting game. The last 5 years with one of Coach Ron Meyer's teams at SMU, Baylor's won 4, lost 1, and the biggest margin that we won by was Saturday night, and that was by 4 points. What an exciting football game. And if you missed it, we're going to have the opportunity to show you some highlights in just a moment. The football game itself was really filled with all of the things that a football fan or a coach would really like to see. There were great runs, great catches, fourth down drama, both offensively and defensively, touchdown passes, halfback passes, interceptions for touchdowns, blocked punts, a field goal, a two-point play, and goal line stands. All of those really make for excitement for the fans, but they'll put a few extra gray hairs on the coach. This football game Saturday night was unusual in that it presented two undefeated teams playing for the conference lead. Now with 3 victories, Baylor University leads the Southwest Conference. University of Texas, the only other undefeated team, has 2 victories. So it was a very important football game in that right. It was important also for both teams in that we had a great gallery of bowl representatives at our game. Even the Sugar Bowl came in and watched these 2 undefeated teams play. There was representatives from most all of the bowls across the country. And that excites your players and it excites your fans once they find out that you're being watched. The football game Saturday night also embodied more than just those exciting things that I mentioned a moment ago. The human dimension gets involved. You can tell a lot about a football team when they come from behind by 7 points, but you can really tell a lot about a football team when they're down 21 points. The momentum is totally the other team's, and then they come back and win. We're going to come back in a moment and show you how all of that took place in Baylor Stadium Saturday night. SMU won the toss and, of course, chose to receive the football. Mike Ford started to work immediately. This young man here, Craig James, made a great run, reception and run that moved the football down to the 25-yard line. Our defense was beginning to scramble here. SMU took charge in the first quarter. Here's a great behind tackle, Mike Singletary getting on the football, and we thwart some points on the board. Very important, as it turned out later. They come right back after we cannot move. We make only 27 yards the entire first quarter. SMU's in total charge, and Mike Ford is the man that's in charge of SMU. They come back now. Watch this run. This is a fantastic run by a great football player. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 5 at least had good shots. Here's a ground level shot of Eric Dickerson. Man, that's just tremendous football. I tell you what, that speaks highly for that young man because he just scored on a good defense. SMU's in total charge right now. We're trying to get it together, and here goes Eric Dickerson. They hold us on our series. We have to punt to them, and they're right back down the field again. Craig James tackled by Joe Campbell. Joe had another outstanding football game for us, as he has had every week. And here's a patented Mike Ford touchdown throw. The old alley oop, and it's 14-0, and we've hardly gotten to the line of scrimmage. Tell you how bad the first quarter was. They made 227 yards in the first quarter to our 24. In the second quarter, which we're in right now, we gave up a touchdown by an interception. We misread the coverage, threw it in. Now they're out 21-0, and we've made 27 yards. You think they're not in control of the football game? The offense has got to go to work. I stayed with Jay Jeffrey because I felt like he could do the job, and he proved me right. He's a fine young man and a very good quarterback. Good throw, excellent throw right on the sideline. Great catch by Mike Fisher. The sprint out give on the sprint out. This was what we call a draw off the sprint out. We move down, get in field goal position, and attempt a field goal, and it's wide to the left. No good. It's real close. I told Bobby at the half I thought he made it. Ford comes back. We did show that we could move the football a little bit. Now the defense is beginning to sort of get things lined out like they want it. A good block there of a Mike Ford pass by Charles Benson. We force them to punt. Now it's time. We have got to get some points on the board. They've been in total control. Good return. Joe McNeil brings it out where we got a little breathing room. Good pass completion to the 27-yard line. Radar Holt, no, that was Mike Fisher again. Radar had a good night, as did Mike Fisher. This is very critical on our 26-yard line. 4th and 1, down 21-0. We got to go for it, I believe. We got to get points on the board. If we fail to make it here, you know, they're going to beat us pretty bad. But that football team would not be denied, and that young man right there, Walter Abercrombie, got that first down like he owned it. Still in the drive. Remember, it's 21-0. Robert Mitchell making a great catch and a great run. Boy, as this young man matured, he's going to be one of the truly outstanding receivers in the nation. He just has some good people playing along with him, and this freshman right here can put it in the end zone. That's his 5th touchdown in 5 football games. Alfred Anderson, great execution of the option. Good block out here by Ward, and look out. He can move. Excellent. Now that puts us on the scoreboard. We're changing things around. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left in the half. 21-7. Robert Bledsoe kicking it deep. Good high ball. They're going to get a return out of there. Can't give them too much yardage. We got to put pressure on them and try to get the football back before the half and get more points on the board. We've swung the momentum. Excellent defense. Tommy Tabor knocked the football loose, and a lineman caught it in midair, and he made a good 1-yard run. Very important play right here. Dickerson, -2 yards. Defense is holding. Here comes the big play. Interception. Thomas Earl Young, and a real good return. Excellent run. Very important to put us down in a scoring situation where we can get points out of it. We're going to go for the touchdown, but we certainly know that we can come away with at least 3 points. Great throw to Mike Fisher on the sideline. The momentum is clearly swung. Now watch this great execution of an option. Look at that fake in there by Walter Abercrombie. Fantastic. Jay Jeffrey into the end zone for the touchdown. Execution of the option, excellent. Here's another shot of it. The cameraman, everybody thought that Walter had the football. 30 seconds to go in the half, and it's 21-14, and that winds up the first half. Momentum is swung for Baylor University. We came out at the half with great determination and great belief that we could win the game. We needed to keep the momentum. How do you keep the momentum? Not by throwing an interception on the very first play. That's exactly what we did. We forced the football into an inside man, a linebacker takes it, and there goes old Mo that we had corralled in the first half, and now we lose it again. Fullback running. Good defense there by Charles Benson. Here's that man again, number 19, Eric Dickerson, stopped for a 2-yard gain. Very big play right here. Mr. Benson and Mike Singletary. Rather, that's Doug Fields and Mike Singletary. Great defense. That's a 4th and 1 situation, and that one right there will probably haunt them for a long time. They would like right now probably to have kicked a field goal, but you know, you never know in those circumstances. Now here again, we thought we had it corralled, and we take the football, they hold us, we punt, they block the punt, and now they're right back down there with great field position. And Mike Ford, after a couple of plays, completes this pass into the end zone to the tight end for the touchdown. Now they're back 14 up, 9:31, and the old momentum is swung back to SMU. So what do? You come out firing, and you hit your back, Walter Abercrombie, and you make 30 yards. That's the best way I know of to get things back in your direction. Jay does a good job here. They're covering the deep receiver. Hits the back out of the backfield for a very big gain. SMU, our players thought hit as hard as anyone we've played all year long. Their offense was certainly as good as any we've played. Radar Holt again making a Very, very good reception. Dropped the ball out of bounds. Great throw into the end zone for a touchdown, and a great defense stripped the ball loose, number 27. We're forced to kick a field goal. We move. Robert makes the field goal. So they, of course, take the penalty. It's 5 yards for in motion. And Robert does something that's very important. He comes right back and sticks it between the uprights and gives us those very important 3 points. I'm sure a lot of people wonder why 28, 2 touchdowns down, we didn't go for the touchdown. I'll tell you very clearly why we didn't go. We had to score more than 2 touchdowns to win the game. And there was a chance to get 3 points. We held them again by our defense picking off a pass. Scott Smith, one of the best leaders I've ever been associated with, and this victory was particularly sweet for him. He's a Dallas Highland Park young man. Great, great interception. At number 27, the ball was batted in the eye, high in the air, and he just dove under it and intercepted the ball. Baylor band hooting them up over there. We hold them and get the football back. We're at midfield. This is a draw play, good defense by SMU, Michael Carter. Started out with a loss, now we got to make a big play. And here it comes. Radar Holt again, knocked out of bounds, SMU 41-yard line. Third and short. Walter making a big, big gain for a third down situation. Gives us a very much needed first down. Again, the halfback pass, and the halfback falls down. But we picked up 4 yards, keeps the drive alive. Jeffrey, good execution. Alfred Anderson making the block, giving us first down on the 21-yard line, correct. Halfback fake the option and throw again to Radar Holt. They were cracking pretty hard on the option. Radar hurt his lower back 2 weeks ago and re-injured it there. Again, the option on the goal line for a touchdown. Same play, Jeffrey scored 3 touchdowns on the very same play. We go for 2 points here, very important, because coming back, we knew we would have to score a touchdown, and that 2-point play with the extra point would give us a 4-point bulge, which means that they would have to score a touchdown to win. They could not tie us with a field goal or could not beat us with a field goal. 28-25. Defense has got to come through now. Good rush. Mike Ford's dropped behind the line of scrimmage for a -8 yards. They go from the up position. Ford throws again. It's batted down by Tommy Tabor. That's very important for those linemen to get those hands up. It really helps that secondary. We had about 2 or 3 batted down, maybe 4. Great interception in the end zone by Scott Smith. That's 2 interceptions for Scott. Scott knew, and we knew, that they were going to try to pick on Scott because he's not that tall and he's not that fast. All Scott is a winner. There's another winner right there that can move with a football. Walter Abercrombie. I believe he's the best back in the conference. But there are a lot of great backs in the conference. Here's a very important play. Alfred Anderson on the option halfback pass. Great throw. Darn good run. Radar Holt down to the 6-yard line. Remember the score, 28-25. Got to have the touchdown. And here it comes. Great fake in there by Walter again. Jay into the end zone easily for the touchdown. Kick the extra point. Now we've got the 4-point bulge that we need. Bledsoe true through the uprights. The score now 32-28. And if you think it's over, just hang around. There's some more action coming. SMU with Mike Ford puts together a good drive here in a moment. Excellent defense right here. Joe Campbell stopping behind the line of scrimmage. We force them to punt. We take the football, move it for 1 first down. We have a loss on a sprint out pass. Bubba Stowe gets a good punt. Now they're on their own 25-yard line, 75 yards to go, and I think there's about 4 minutes and 50 seconds left on the clock. This is where the great quarterback comes into play. Mike Ford is cool, and he drops back and throws one. Again, we knock another one down. That's 3 that I can see on this video that we've knocked down. That's very important. Mike completed 50% of his passes. Jay Jeffrey just a hair over 50%. A big play and a real fine catch. Darn good catch there. Very important first down for them. You're going to see Dickerson now doing his thing. Boy, he's a fine running back. Good. You better hit him and you better wrap him up good. 2 tight ends trying to run the lead inside. Good defense. Way to go, Benson. Vic Vines coming up to make a stop. 21 seconds left. 4th down. 1 yard to go for a first down on the 8-yard line. They've got to score. They do not have another timeout. Got a pinch on with the tackles. The ball was dropped, and Joe Campbell comes up with it. And again, we get to run this week that old favorite play of the offensive coaches, fall on the football and let the clock run out. It was a great drive by Mike Ford, and we'll never know what happened on the next play, because the next play was a fumble. There's a lot of excitement on the sideline because that just put us in the shape to be 5-0. Jay Jeffrey now falls on the football. That winds up one of the finest football games that I've ever seen as a coach, and certainly a very important ball game as far as Southwest Conference play is concerned. We'll be back in a moment and talk about some people that I'm going to be happy to introduce to you.
The success and well-being of the American economy depends on the entrepreneur, the person who takes the risk of starting a new venture or leading an organization in a new direction. Men and women of vision, imagination, and innovation. Baylor University's Henkammer School of Business is one of only 2 schools in the nation offering both undergraduate and graduate programs in entrepreneurship. Baylor Center for Private Enterprise and Entrepreneurship sponsors 2 programs to assist practicing entrepreneurs. The Innovation Evaluation Center is the only place in the South where inventors can get an inexpensive analysis of their new product ideas. The Venture Assistance Program is a valuable resource for entrepreneurs in Central Texas in need of consultation. The Henkammer School of Business is dedicated to perpetuating the free, independent, and innovative spirit of American business into the 21st century.
I'll tell you, my heart's still beating very heavy from the excitement of that football game. A game like that, very honestly, is one that, as a coach, you have great feelings about the other coaching staff and the other team, because SMU was extremely well prepared. They played extremely hard, and certainly that kind of ball game could have gone either way, but that's the way it was supposed to be. It was going to be a very close game between 2 undefeated teams, and somebody was going to win and somebody was going to lose. We're thankful that the Fighting Baylor Bears won the football game. This next week we play a very fine team that's another nemesis of Baylor University. That's the Texas Aggies. They played an outstanding football game way early in the morning, Sunday morning, when they played Houston last week. Now I'm going to show you the secret of my success here at Baylor University. That's our coaching staff. Bill Hicks has been on my staff for 8 years, going into his 9th year. He's a former Baylor player and an outstanding defensive line coach. He recruits the West Texas area. Pete Fredenberg, former head coach at Giddings, is new to our staff this year. He's coaching the defensive ends, and I might add, doing a very, very good job. Corky Nelson is going into his 9th year here at Baylor with me. He's our defensive coordinator, coaches our linebackers. Just an outstanding defensive football coach. He is a great leader of our defensive staff as well. Coach Billy Mills, probably the youngest man on our coaching staff, has come up through the ranks here with me. He is our secondary coach and did an excellent job Saturday night. Cotton Davidson has been on my staff here. This is his 9th year. A former great Baylor player and all-pro quarterback, handles our passing game and is doing an excellent job this year with all phases of our passing game. Wade Turner coaches our offensive backs, and this is our 13th year together as coaches. And Wade has our backs blocking the best of any group we've ever had. Mike Unger is a young coach that is one of our part-time coaches that does a good job with our scout team. Bill Lane, again, been with me 13 years. We played college football together. He coaches our tight ends. Duke Christian. Duke has been with us 2 years now and coaches our quarterbacks in the run game. John O'Hara, offensive line coach and our offensive coordinator, and does a fantastic job for you. I tell you, that's the secret of our success here at Baylor University. They're an outstanding group of young coaches. They do a great job on and off the football field, and I'm extremely proud of them and proud for them. We'll be back next week.
Two interceptions tonight. Describe them to me. Well, the first one was just a curl, and I'd gotten beaten previously play on the goal line. The tight end was in the flat, and that split end was on a curl. And I didn't jump on a flat, and they hit him into the tight end, and he scored. They came back and run it again. I sort of hung and then just broke on the ball, and they threw the curl. And then on the long one to James, it was the back out. We worked on it all week with him trying. I thought they were going to pick on me there, and Mike underthrew it a little, I guess, and I got there.
That's how come we came back on him. We held tight. We got together as a defensive squad like we're supposed to be playing, and we stopped him.
Oh, Clark, I can't tell you. It's the greatest feeling I believe I've ever had in my life. I've never seen a bunch of guys play so hard and never gave an inch, you know. And at that last drive, they just lifted me up the way they played so hard. Fantastic.
Yeah, they so far, I believe they're the hardest hitting team that we played against so far. They were hitting real hard. They had a real good secondary.
I'll say this, man, Mike Ford is a heck of a quarterback. I hated to see him have to be the one to fumble a snap between he and the center, because I'll tell you what, he's a heck of a quarterback. I think he did a great job.
Well, it was a great win, and I'm glad we win, and now we won the game, and everything's great. You know, everybody's fired up, and this team is really enthusiastic playing. I think we're going all the way.